Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm going to go back over something that I think is extremely important here in this video. First, there's a few things I want to show you. The first is from my sponsor, Link2. Over 4,000 Link2 members have joined Link2 in making Ripple investments, and the Digital Asset Investor in making Ripple investments since the launch of our investment platform in 2020. To learn more about it, anyway, links in the top of the description. Tell them DAI sent you. Brett Hill had tweeted this out. This is so exact, right over the target. Only the real ones are aware of the depth and strength of XRP, the sleeping giant. That's exactly what XRP is the sleeping giant. Now, I want to show you this. I'm not going to play it because I'm worried about a copyright hit, but I did retweet it, and I do want you all to watch it. I met this guy, and I think he likes to remain anonymous, but I met him at XRP Las Vegas. He did a hype video for XRP Las Vegas 2024, and I know firsthand that there is going to be an XRP Las Vegas 2024. So these guys are already promoting it now. Look, there I am, my logo. But they're already promoting it now, and I have a feeling it's going to be even bigger than the last one, maybe a lot bigger. But he did a really cool remix there. Now, speaking of XRP Las Vegas 2024, John Deaton was on with Brad Combs, and I want you to listen to what he says, because this is a human story, folks. I was telling somebody the other day, pretty much myself and everybody else, we all showed up to this party for a reason, and my reason, and I think most of the people listening to my voice, our reasons are because we've seen how our country and our world has destroyed the value of our money. We've seen how they've rug pulled our families and our chances for any kind of real future financially. And we saw this XRP thing at some point, and many at different times. Many never even knew what Ripple was, but they saw this XRP thing and it just made sense. Whereas Bitcoin didn't for me, but it made sense. And John Deaton is describing in this some of the people he met at Las Vegas, XRP Las Vegas, and some of those stories. And these are a lot of them are the people that we're fighting for, and have been fighting for. And so listen to this.
There is a difference when, decentralized justice is great, and you all, like the XRP community, have been great. And when you have tens of thousands of people and you get emails, it's one thing. But Brad, at that conference, and I could get a bit emotional about this because it's sincere to me. When you have a 75-year-old woman, grandmother, come up to you and say, "Can I shake your hand?" Because I just thank you for fighting for us, for trying to give us a voice. And when you meet people like that over and over again, ranging from 18 years old to one lady in a wheelchair at 82, who came up to me to extend some level of gratitude, man, it's a different level. And it inspired me tremendously, because these people these are hardworking people. Most of them are non-accredited investors. Some of them are developers who are just trying to advance their life and take advantage of this and change the world. And we have a government who's stepping on their neck, you know what I mean? And who's trying to prevent that and is not doing the right thing. And so I just want to say thank you to you. I want to say thank you to everyone out there that came up to me. Like, you touched me. It was the most humbling event that I've ever experienced, because deep down, you're not as good as everybody's claiming you are, or that you know how flawed you are as a human being, and to experience that. So it overwhelmed me. And so
me too. That's a good man right there. Now, against that backdrop, I've got some questions. This is the Susan Athey, Robbie Mitchnick Fundamental Valuation Framework for Crypto Assets from June 2018. They had a valuation. They thought that the fundamental valuation of XRP based on their model was $1.59 to $8.23 back then. Here we are in 2023. I have some questions. What would the value of XRP be now if it had been included in the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Hinman free pass speech? What would the value of XRP be now if it had been, if there had been no SEC lawsuit, regulatory capture? What would the valuation be now versus the projections from 2018? What are the damages to all those people John Deaton just described? Those are my questions. Now, moving along. Over the last 3 hours, more than half of the Bitcoin blocks have been solved by an unknown miner. Well, we have an unknown Satoshi, 4 Satoshis that Homeland Security knows who they are. Therein lies the problem with this from day one for me. All right, now, in the last video, this is what I want to show you. There's a lot here, folks, so pay attention. I remember because I was sitting in the crowd in 2019 in Singapore at Ripple Swell, and I saw when they started talking about the flywheel effect. Well, this woman, I played you one of these videos this morning, but I'm going to play it again, but I'm also going to play you more that she said. Watch this. This woman is she was one of the people. She was on stage at Swell 2019 and was talking about the flywheel effect.
Takeaway is that increasingly FIs recognize that banking and payment systems have not kept up with the pace of advancements in the digital economy and in trading. E-com operates 24/7 cross-border relatively inexpensively. Trading, the front office is automated, there's low latency. Then you switch gears, banks operate still typically in terms of batch processing, store and forward, and payments, messaging, clearing, and settlement are often decoupled and can take days. This dichotomy is just unsustainable. And in response, we're seeing and hearing at Sibos how a number of FIs and FI-backed consortiums are harnessing blockchain, smart contracts, digital assets to align the performance of banking and payment systems with those of the digital economy. The second takeaway, I'd say, is that the Internet of Value is beginning to crystallize. And let me start with a framework. Let's think of the old industrial flywheels that take a lot of energy to make a half turn and a full turn. But once they start turning, there's momentum and it's hard to stop them. So let's overlay adoption of blockchain and digital assets. They've proven value. So part of the first turn, feasibility, certainly. And now we're seeing these use cases get into the bottom of that first turn, economic viability. And there's some exciting initiatives we heard about at Sibos around interbank payments.
All right, listen to this second part.
Interbank payments, delivery versus payments, for example, correspondent banking, messaging, cross-border, interbank, intrabank, intracompany.
Interbank, intrabank, remember that.
And importantly, when we get to the ESG, the S part, remittances. So lots of interesting energy there. And we're seeing cryptocurrencies like XRP, Stellar Lumens, and stablecoins like USDC playing an important role in getting that wheel to turn and deliver the Internet of Value. Also, the introduction of central bank digital currencies will accelerate the mainstreaming of digital assets. I'd say my third, coming to the crown jewel here, cryptocurrencies are gaining legitimacy as a new asset class. When the Bitcoin paper first came out, it was going to be the missing link, the Internet of Value, a medium of exchange. But as we know, Bitcoin failed as a medium of exchange for legal activities. Then the pivot was to blockchain, distributed ledger technology as the new disruptor. Now we're seeing Bitcoin as in the lead as a new digital asset class, which has profound implications. It's been initially driven by retail investors. Now we're seeing institutional investors enter the game. And with institutional investors, you get more sophisticated demand. And that certainly is going to accelerate developments in decentralized finance.
Okay, so you got that. Now, she was talking about intrabank. Look at this right here. This is what we saw from, what does it say here? It seems like it was it was World Economic Forum had put this out a while back. So right here it says interbank or intrabank payments and settlements, JPM coin, Ripple's XRP. And then right here it says collaboratively developed DLT-driven interbank payment systems, USDC, which runs on Stellar. She mentioned both XLM and XRP, go figure. Then you got this. This is the Flywheel in motion right here. This was the report that Ripple had put out in 2019. And if you, the flywheel effect, spinning flywheel is a good analogy for pace of blockchain. Flywheels used in heaven. Anyway, she just said this in her talk there. This was what they put out in 2019. And they said that they were basically headed for number 4, moving to production, building trust and demand, which would mean that by now, expediting the move to go live, which is ODL, CBDCs, boosting with digital assets. We're arriving at number 6, folks. Now, this was her on stage at Cybos. Not Cybos, but her on stage at Swell 2019.
The element we put at the bottom, number 6, digital assets, is going to turbocharge the wheel. And once that momentum gets going, it just keeps going.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a chicken and egg with the regulatory piece that you talked about, but assuming that gets resolved more widely, I would agree. I think the use of digital assets, if you just take, for example, in the Ripple world, on-demand liquidity, that's a very, very compelling use of a digital asset, right? To free up, as Brad mentioned yesterday, the kickoff, trillions of dollars ultimately of money being held captive in the pre-funded accounts around the world, right? If you can free up, some decent percentage of that, that's more capital flowing around the economies in the world, right? So not only does that benefit the individuals concerned, I believe also there's a sort of macroeconomic benefit ultimately as well. More flowing, particularly in smaller businesses, in developing economies, so they can get paid more quickly, get paid with more certainty.
Sure.
So I think it's so compelling, right? And it's part of our job to make it a reality.
All right, and that was James Wallace. Now, listen to this. This is Mark Carney, who used to be the governor of the Bank of England. I think that was his title. And now he's speaking at a BIS thing. I don't know when this was. I'm assuming in 2021. Listen from about here. Let me hit the old refresh button so we can get that going.
Focusing on the means of payments roles exclusively. Those innovations target very large scale and seek to capture very new forms of value. This private money is being created to integrate payments data into data-driven services provided by technology companies. Money's role as a means of payment will be used to feed the flywheel. In this way, large technology companies could become major providers of private money. And although they may not wish to provide credit themselves, they could become central to credit intermediation as conduits for white label financial institutions. As some, including Marcus Brunemeyer and Harold James and Jean-Pierre Landau, have suggested, this could invert the hierarchy in financial services. And it will help change the nature and funding of credit intermediation. It'll have ramifications for domestic regulation well beyond the payment system, and even change the structure of the international monetary and financial system.
Go figure. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that I would like to know this. What would the value of XRP be now? If it had been included in the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Hinman free pass speech, what would the value of XRP be now if there had been no SEC lawsuit, regulatory capture? What would the valuation be now versus projections from 2018? What are the damages? I want to know all those things as we lead up to getting these Hinman emails and documents.